Ah, it's starting to rain. Maybe we should go inside. So, the writer of the Sonic movie has been announced, and all the different factions of Sonic fans are already fighting over his attention and sending him entire lectures and grocery lists of what he should do. Poor guy. He must be getting terrified about now. So no, I'm not gonna make a what the movie should be dissected, because by the time that's finished, the poor guy must be at his breaking point already. So, what's up?
There's been a new interview with Stefan Frost from Sonic Boom, and there's actually new things revealed this time for a change. He's asked about the writers, and Pontek and Graf weren't mentioned. Sonic Boom will have one main writer to overlook character consistency, and several smaller writers that tackle separate scenes and episodes, but work with the main writer. Alright, wish the entire Sonic series had this arrangement. Frost says the speed sections in Sonic Boom won't only be transitional bonus sections between hubs, but will be balanced and mixed through the entire game.
Whew, thankfully.
Glad to hear that. Was worried the speed sections would feel tacked on and removed from the main gameplay. He also mentioned that, for the first time ever, it won't be just cinematics and levels that have nothing to do with them. The story will really continue and carry on through the stage, which hasn't been done with Sonic before.
Well, except Sonic Adventure and Battle.
He means there will even be cutscenes and revelations during the level, which has never been done before.
No. Except the Sonic 2, the Sonic 3 Knuckles, the Sonic Chronicles, the Sonic CD.
Yes, you're freaking hysterical. Sonic Boom will also have a lot of collectibles. Rings for unlockable concept art, robot parts for upgrades, mission items from Styx and other villagers. Oh, I hope they won't go all Donkey Kong 64 on us here. And here's some interesting bits. Apparently they were debating for over a year about all the designs. And no, Styx is not based on Marine. It's a complete coincidence they look alike. The universe really did decide that it required two hyperactive orange Australian wild girls. In fact, even Sonic Team worked along with her design. Makes me wonder why they didn't notice, or perhaps if they are even responsible, doing it on purpose to troll Big Red Button. But yeah, seems they worked on her design for over a year too, apparently debating for months just on choosing her species.
See, now this is why I'll never want to get a job in the industry. I'd be running out of the meeting room screaming if they talk about more than 50 minutes about some irrelevant detail. Yeah, you debate what shape the tail of this character is. I'll be already creating the palm trees and props and the entire first level, alright? No, you can't do that yet. We haven't had our 3-month debate on what shape the trees will be in the game, like...
Really strange, yeah. I mean, just avoid the species of any of the main characters. No hedgehogs or foxes. Avoid any species that have special significance to Sonic's universe, like the echidnas or Babylon birds, and it should be alright. How much difference would there even be in a Styx the raccoon, Styx the bear, or Styx the badger? Really? Differently shaped ears? Ooh, what a fashion disaster.
Right. Well, other news, I was wondering if Tails could actually fly in the game since we didn't see any footage of that, not to mention the developers are so happy and proud of Amy's triple jump. I expected Tails only to be able to fly in specific spots and levels. But yeah, someone made a video of the 5 seconds you're allowed to play as Tails in the demo, and he can fly, or glide. So yeah, it's like Rayman's helicopter, I guess. Also, they suddenly mentioned there will be time travel here, and you'll be revisiting old stages in a new time period, so Sonic CD-ish. And yeah, no Gale's Emeralds, but Gale's Crystals, or whatever. Look, I don't care whatever it's several Emeralds, or 8 Time Stones, or 6 Farts, whatever. Bunch of shiny magic MacGuffins you need to collect in order to energy, ancient monster, unlock hidden temple, whatever. Call them whatever you want, they're Gale's Emeralds. Considering Big Red Button's logic, they probably ditched Gale's Emeralds to avoid the aren't emeralds always green logic thing. So that's the news. Now let's actually talk about something substantial.
Alright, good. Alright then, excellent. Reading through the massive counter-arguments we received, I noticed a trend that in general it said that we are too much pro-Sonic Adventure 2 and too much bias against Lost World. Fair enough. Let's explore this through a little.
When I'm debating with others about the stories of Sonic games, I'm usually focusing on the flow of the story, how the action and the dialogue have a good balance, there's a build-up and payoffs, and you enjoy going from plot point to plot point like a roller coaster ride. Jokes that logically result from who a character is and what situation he or she is in. You know, flow. Whenever people argue against me, like that Sonic Adventure 2 is severely flawed, it's usually about individual moments. Characters mistaking Sonic for Shadow, the effects of the moon, the Gerald Robotnik backstory being hazy. Individual moments that are indeed weak points of the story.
Sounds about right.
We haven't really talked about Sonic Lost World in detail yet, but once again, most of our complaints result from the lack of flow the story has.
Why yes, Lost World feels like it doesn't have a narrative. It feels like it's a collection of individual concepts. Tails is angry at Sonic, end scene. Eggman wants revenge on Deadly Six, end scene. Tails is a badass robot, end scene. It happens and it's awesome, but that's it. It just happens and disappears again. It doesn't flow like a narrative. It's like each cutscene is just an individual idea. Sometimes there's a build-up, but almost never a payoff. I feel like the writers could think, wouldn't it be awesome if Eggman was a ninja at one point? Quickly add one point in a previous scene where Eggman mentions liking ninjas. Then have one scene where Eggman dresses up like a ninja and does a cool thing. And then it'll be gone again. Unless it's Naruto, which would be pretty hilarious and weird.
Well, that would be funny depending on the execution. Random humor is one thing. Problem with Lost World is that most of these elements feel like it's part of a narrative. So it's more comparable with if Cinderella, that she loses her glass slipper, which the prince finds, and then the prince never does anything and Cinderella just marries some other dude. So again, story flow. Sonic Adventure 2 flows like a roller coaster, while Lost World constantly readjusts the story to individual scenes. And yet again, I notice people who are unhappy about our opinion about Lost World and do enjoy the game usually back it up by yet again bringing up individual scenes. Tails being a robot is awesome. It's great to see him finally come up for himself. It's great that Eggman uses jacket buttons for something. So, Lost World's great strength in its story is that it has a very consistent quality. There's never a scene that's outright bad. Nothing offensive happens. Except to my sense of humor, but whatever. But everything that does happen does a good job in giving you the illusion that everything works as a story should. It's only when you pay attention or don't look at each scene on its own but as part of a whole narrative that things start to fall apart.
Sorry about that, Tails. I'll never doubt you again.
At what point does Sonic ever doubt Tails? Seriously? Was it because he said this?
Alright, we good to go or what, Tails?
It's just a matter of speaking, a phrase. Hey buddy, how are you? Need any help? Everything going smoothly? Or is it because he allowed Eggman to tag along just in case? Their friendship that lasted for 20 years and several world-saving adventures later now crumbles apart because Sonic asks if the repairs are coming along or allows Eggman to help out. Are you freaking kidding me? But yeah, ignore the story flow and just look at everything individually and the quality is very concisive. Unlike Sonic Adventure 2 that fittingly has its ups and downs. Some big amazing awesome moments and a few more awkward or dangerous scenes. If I look at it as a whole, because the game takes its risks, it does a lot of big things that cause the good parts to be really good. Sure, the cost is that there's some more awkward and dangerous parts in it. It's not a smooth ride, it's rough. But the momentum, the good parts easily push me through the rougher parts.
Okay.
It doesn't make sense. The moon has no effect on the earth, blah, blah. Yes, that is weird and comical. Make a funny comic about it. It ruins the story, are you kidding me? Friendship, betrayal, chases, explosions, excitement. Something like Sonic Colors does nothing spectacularly wrong, no. But it does nothing spectacularly good either, so at best it's just tolerable. Lost World tried to do good things, but none of it flows in the narrative, and therefore nothing has any weight to me. Tails being a robot is not exciting. It's a fun idea, but it just happens. If it was part of the climax and you saw him on the side during the final boss shooting and assisting and something, then yeah. But he just disappears. To me, context is everything. It's the difference between Christmas or just having a toy. Having a toy is nice, but Christmas with all the anticipation and people and atmosphere makes it epic, even with plot hole family members showing up at the party. Hey, but just now you were complaining about character inconsistencies in Lost World, and now you're dismissing plot holes in Adventure, you hypocrite! Ooh, well spotted, viewer, well done. I'll get back to that in its own plot hole dissected episode. But for now I just ask you, what's more important? The characters who carry the story or technical details from story props? I notice there's a lot with internet reviewers too, where Mike J or someone says he'll explore why a movie doesn't work and then basically just sums up a bunch of small observations that normal people wouldn't even notice. If, and that's important, if the movie had done its job and carried the audience along. But talking about why a movie doesn't work is technical and boring, so instead the video is about tiny plot holes and details. Yet with the illusion that that's the reason why the movie didn't work. In better movies we were wrapped up in the roller coaster movement of the story, so plot holes are just part of the scenery, they just blur by. Although I have to admit, it changes from person to person. A guy like Spoonie always seems to be hung up on irrelevant details no matter how much he enjoys the movie. Well, you got people in all forms and shapes, of course. But I can see this becoming an issue with Sonic Boom's sense of humor too. Last time people took offense at me for saying that Eggman's behavior was like Ralph Wiggum, and indeed I think I was wrong. I will retract that statement. Watching the entire boss battle with all the dialogue included, I realized my second fear came true. That it's a voice actor writer improvised theater. Eggman doesn't have a particular personality, he's just funny guy. And I can imagine 5 writers in a room getting the challenge of write jokes for funny guy that he could say while fighting in a robot. And every writer has a different interpretation of the characters. So one moment Eggman is like a 5-year-old toddler.
Sonic smells! Wait, no fair!
And then he's funny internet meme guy.
You like my new outfit? Nailed it!
He's just funny guy. Nothing flows from an established personality or the situation. He just says things that are funny. So if you are someone who consumes information by each individual moment, you'll find him funny. Hey, Eggman said something silly, so it's a joke, it's funny. But for someone like me who looks at the full picture and the full context and is constantly asking why someone says something, it's very confusing. Eggman's basically Gex in this game.
Gecko did it. He had motive, opportunity, and sneaky little eyes. Ah, yes. The mystery of the two-brimmed hat.
The things he says usually has nothing to do with what's going on, other than the detective said it once in a movie and I'm a detective in this level. Of course the difference is that Gex isn't a story-driven character. A game like that works entirely just on energy and atmosphere. You're a funny guy in a funny level who says funny things, there's nothing more to it. Eggman on the other hand will be part of Sonic Boom's story, so him having random funny lines will be rather confusing. Unless Eggman's new personality really is that he's suffering from brain damage. So yeah, less Ralph Wiggum and more Homer Simpson. During serious moments the writers will probably remember vaguely the kind of general character he's supposed to be. But in the rest of the game, the writers are probably just having to write so many jokes that he'll be all over the place. So, individual moments or the flow? Of course there isn't a right or a wrong way of thinking, but it's interesting to know that there are 2 distinct ways to judge media like this. And it might save a lot of stress and needless fighting in discussions when you recognize if the person you're discussing with and you are on the same level, or are comparing pears with oranges.
Right. Exactly what I wanted to say before you interrupted me.
Oh, of course, Luke. Yeah, sorry. It's your turn to talk. I won't interrupt you.
Alright, good. Okay. So another thing.
Greetings, friends!
Captain Goddamn Theory, you bloody bastard! You salty barnacle breath! Rotten diaper salesman!